Sunnyside, Woodside, and Astoria. I'm also the chair of contracts. We are joined this morning by the amazing Speaker Adrienne Adams, as well as our amazing Finance Chair, Justin Brannan. And we will shortly be joined by Councilmember Althea Stevens, the chair of DYCD. And of course, we are joined by these beautiful faces from nonprofits across the city of New York. As you know, so many of our city's essential services, from housing to food security to youth to seniors, they are all delivered by our amazing nonprofit service providers. The people stand behind me today are the nonprofits who work tirelessly, morning to evening, Monday to Sunday, to make sure that even with limited resources, they make sure New Yorkers get the critical services and support that they need. They don't do it for profit. They do it out of deep commitment for our communities, but dedication alone is not enough. These organizations deserve more than our gratitude. Gratitude won't pay the rent. Right. And gratitude is not going to pay for our food. And it won't allow our nonprofit providers to meet payroll for their amazing staff. They deserve our action.
How about that?
And that starts with making sure that they are paid on time with the work that they do.
How about that?
Far too often, providers face delay after delay in contracting and payment. Right now, as of yesterday's report from the Comptroller's Office, more than $1 billion in invoices are outstanding in payment. Boom! And according to the Human Services Council survey, over $548 million are owed to nonprofit organizations in late payments.
My God.
Terrible. In my council district alone, we're due $23 million for 20 local organizations.
That ain't right.
It ain't right. Our nonprofit providers and their employees they spend so much of their time filling out benefits, government benefits for our community members, yet they themselves can also qualify. That's not okay. These delayed payment disrupts operations, force staff layoff, and put critical services at risk for communities that need it the most. So let's be clear. The council finds this absolutely unacceptable.
Right.
Today, alongside our amazing leader, Speaker Adrienne Adams, who completely finds this unacceptable, we have her full support and her leadership to put the worst offenders, DHS, DYCD, DFTA, HPD, and the mayor's office on record. They owe public answers, and more importantly, they owe our nonprofits over $1 billion in funding. We cannot be used like a credit card with no interest payments for our nonprofits, while we're also facing $1 billion in funding cuts from the federal government. We have 3 laws that we're introducing today, that we're hearing today. Intro 1249 will require agencies to create corrective action plans when contracts are registered late. There is no more excuses. It's time for agencies to face root causes for delays, fix broken systems, and deliver real improvements. Next, we have Intro 1247. It will require agencies to pay nonprofits faster, mandating that 80% of our fiscal year's payment is processed immediately after contract registration. Lastly, thanks to your advocacy, 1248 will establish a new Department of Contracting Services. Instead of letting every agency juggle contracting on their own, DOCS will streamline the entire process, cutting red tape, clearing backlogs, and making sure nonprofits aren't left in limbo. So as co-prime sponsors with all the council members that are here today, we're going to continue to urge all of our colleagues to sign on. And I know that with Adrienne Adams' leadership under her speakership, that we will see these to the finish line to correct these wrongs. So we want to make sure that we're fixing the system, because it's not just bureaucratic reform, but it's to show respect for every single nonprofit that is here, that steps up to serve the city when we need them the most. So So let's actually value their work and pay them on time. Next, it is my great honor to introduce our amazing friend, our sister and partner in this work, the greatest advocate, the biggest leader that we know. If we call her and she's mad, she's showing up with bodies. Michelle Jackson from the Human Services. Actually, I think you should introduce Adrienne Adams.
Okay. Well, oh, no, I'm going to turn it back to you. All right. I'm so honored to be here today. Procurement has never looked hotter. It's been a big week for procurement reform. And I really have to start by saying a big thank you to Speaker Adams for bringing us together today, and to Council Members Brannan, Juan, and Stevens for being such important champions in ensuring nonprofits can serve our communities. The legislation we're here to talk about today is so important to moving the needle on ensuring nonprofits get paid on time. I also want to thank the HSC members who came out today to represent. I see all of you. And also to our incredible partners, the Legal Aid Society and Take Root Justice. They really demonstrate how this issue impacts all types of services. And while I am honored to be here today, I'm also disappointed. On behalf of my, HSC, our over 180 human services members, I'm remarkably disappointed. When Mayor Adams took office, we stood behind him when he cleared $6 billion in backlogs worth of contracts, which was a very noble effort. Last year, I stood right here with the mayor and the speaker to celebrate a historic COLA, a huge investment we are still incredibly grateful for. And yet, at the same time, my members are owed the most money they've ever been owed. And this is the worst it's ever been. The Comptroller's report shows there's just $1 billion in unpaid invoices just for this year. And so all of that progress, it doesn't feel, exactly, that ain't right.
That ain't right.
Nonprofit contracts like any other vendor to do important work. And also the work that nonprofits do is not like any other vendor. They aren't just performing work, buying pens and pencils, doing IT. They are doing the most important life-saving work in the community, delivering meals to homebound seniors, housing those experiencing homelessness and moving them to permanent housing, providing childcare and after school, legal services, and a host of other vital programs. And yet, sorry, we're gonna just work through that. And yet, the city is asking them to take on debt. Why do nonprofits have to take on debt to serve our communities? Because the city doesn't value them, doesn't think they need to pay their own bills on time, isn't prioritizing the programs and the people they serve? I don't have a good answer as to why providers can't get paid on time, but I'm happy to be here today to work with the City Council to fix it. And I think it's really important to note that this is happening at a time when there are real threats to the sector from the federal government. Funding freezes, executive orders, and a budget that will certainly have cuts to nonprofit programs will decimate our communities. And the city has left us with no safety net. I have a group with an over $15 million line of credit, completely tapped out on money they're owed from the city. That means when there's a federal cut, they have no safety net. They will close programs, they will stop services in our community. This is where the unsexy issues like procurement meet real consequences. We need healthy nonprofits to be able to meet the challenges of the day. It's unacceptable and completely avoidable. We have to value the work and the worker, and the current system assumes nonprofits can continue to be last and least, and that has to change. Not for the nonprofits themselves, but for the millions of New Yorkers who will be actively harmed as services close. So while I am disappointed, I'm also incredibly grateful. I'm grateful for this moment and for the leadership of Speaker Adams, Councilmember Brannan, Juan, and Stevens, and the full City Council for leading us through this crisis and making sure we don't get to this place again with real reform efforts. Thank you so much to the Speaker, to the Council. My shirt says it all. No procurement, no peace. No procurement, no peace. No procurement, no peace. No procurement, no peace. Councilmember Juan.
Payment on time.
Every time.
Payment on time.
Every time.
Payment on time.
Every time.
All right, it is now my honor to introduce our great leader, Adrienne Adams, who truly understands that payments must be on time every time.
I thank you all for waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. But we're going to get this done for you. So good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being here today as we stand together in unity in support of our city's nonprofit organizations. I am New York City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams, and I'm so proud to lead our most historic women majority and most diverse city council in the history of the city of New York. I am joined by my colleagues, council members Justin Brennan. Our fearless leader on contracts, Julie Wan. I know Councilmember Althea Stevens is on her way. I also want to acknowledge all of the service providers, including Human Services Council of New York, Council of Family and Child Caring Agencies, Goddard Riverside, Volunteers of America, Take Root Justice, and the New York City Arts and Education Roundtable, who are on the ground and in our communities every single day. And we cannot forget the Legal Aid Society!
And housing works.
And housing works!
And housing works.
That's right. That's right. We are here today because we understand firsthand just how essential our nonprofit organizations are to the health and safety of New Yorkers. From our youngest to our eldest, everyone benefits from the hard work and contributions of human service providers. But for far too long, payment delays in the city's contracting process have threatened the services and survival of provider organizations, putting the entire sector, its workers and New Yorkers at risk. Due to contract registration delays, the lack of timely reimbursements, and other bureaucratic obstacles, nonprofit organizations are facing severe financial strains. That means they can't sustain operations or make payroll to compensate for their hardworking staff. Some of our longest-serving nonprofit organizations have even shuttered in recent years because of these issues. It's simply unreasonable for us as a city to expect those who deliver essential services to effectively function under these circumstances. Our city must resolve these significant challenges and advance solutions to this crisis. Half-baked, performative announcements that are mere self-congratulatory than solution-oriented will not solve these challenges. We need leadership and real solutions that can finally move the needle and get nonprofits paid on time. For years, this council has worked tirelessly to champion our city's nonprofit sector. After years of advocacy with our nonprofit partners, we successfully secured well-deserved cost of living adjustments for the human services workforce, the majority of whom are women and people of color. We work closely in partnership with nonprofit service providers to protect our communities, and these late payment issues are one of the biggest issues we hear over and over again every single day, year after year. That's why I advanced in my State of the City this year, and now we are advancing reforms. It's about time.
Yeah. How about that?
We are pursuing legislation to require the payment of agency-awarded funds to nonprofits earlier in the process, something the mayor finally purported the city would do just yesterday. Oh, what a coincidence. We're also pursuing legislation to require city agencies to submit corrective action plans when they make late payments, so there is accountability for agencies to improve. And finally, I'm proud to sponsor legislation to create the new Department of Contract Services, because our service providers deserve the attention and resources of a full city agency.
Yeah.
So this department would help centralize contract functions to better operationalize these critical processes. By advancing these bills, we hope that our city can take significant steps forward. Our goal is for these reforms to help ensure providers are not struggling to pay staff or chasing down the funding they're owed for services, but actually able to focus on their missions of delivering for New Yorkers. Our city's nonprofit organizations, our workforce, and this sector are far too important to the health and well-being of New Yorkers. They deserve our utmost support, especially at a time when service providers are also facing threats and potential losses of funding from the Trump administration. We must protect them and enact solutions that empower them and those they serve. Today's hearing, which we are about to go into, is so critical to achieve solutions, and I look forward to our continued partnership together. Let's work all of this out in our hearing. You all certainly deserve it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Speaker Adams. Payment on time?
Every time.
Payment on time?
Every time.
Payment on time?
Every time.
Next, we have Dr. Sophie Charles from the Council of Family and Child Caring Agencies, who is responsible for organizing and directing child welfare advocacy, more than 100 organizations across the state. Thank you so much. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm Dr. Sophie Charles from the Council of Family and Child Caring Agencies, and I'm here representing more than 100 child welfare agencies across the state, about 50 of those here in New York City. And I'm here to tell you that our agencies provide the essential services for New York City's children and family services. And let's be clear, it's very, very simple. When our agencies are not paid on time, on the front end, they can't keep the lights on, pay their staff salaries, and keep the services running for children and families in this city. That's on the front end. On the back end, when our agencies are not paid on time, our families do not get the food, they do not get the child care assistance, our youth do not get the employment and aftercare educational services. So that's what we're talking about when our agencies are not paid on time.
That ain't right.
That's not right. So our agencies, some of them who are here today, the Harlem Downlings, the Chinese Planning Councils, the YMC Chinatown Y, the Harlem Downlings, the Forestdale, the Lutheran Social Services, and the Jewish Child Care Association, they provide the essential services to New York City. And when they're not paid on time, size does not matter. We have large agencies and small agencies, and size does not matter when the city is not paying their bills. They can't continue to deliver the services. So I'm here to say to the city, pay our agencies on time so the families can continue to get the vital services that they need. Our agencies sustain the city, and we want them to be paid on time. You're good partners, but we want you to pay us. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sophie Charles. Next, we have our dear friend, Justin Brannon, who is the finance chair keeping OMB accountable.
Thank you, Julie. Look, we don't want to be here today.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't. We don't want to pass any more bills. We don't want to have any more hearings. We don't need more task force. We just need the city to pay their damn bills on time. Look, New York City is under attack right now from Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Our most vulnerable New Yorkers are under attack. The very people that these organizations serve are under attack. We've sat through 3 years of budget cuts. When budget cuts get made, New Yorkers in need turn to organizations like the one behind us today. But they're not getting paid. And the administration continues to gaslight us. Do you think we'd all be out here today if there wasn't a problem? No. Look, The city needs to pay their bills on time. They treat these organizations like trusted partners, like family. The city says to these organizations, look, we don't have the capacity to do this life-saving work. We need you to do it. We're entrusting you to do the work that people will trust, that it's the quality of a city organization, a city agency. But then when it's time to get paid, they treat you like a deadbeat parent and they don't answer the phone.
That ain't right.
That ain't right. Look, $1 billion is just sitting there that should be deployed to these organizations for work that they already did. The city says, hey, can you help us feed the homeless? Can you help us connect people to housing? Can you help immigrants with legal services? Sure, we'll do it. They do the work and they wait years to get paid for work that they already did. Meanwhile, organizations, that ain't right. But while that's happening, while these organizations are owed billions, companies like DocGo are getting checks for $500 million like they're handing out candy on Halloween. That ain't right. So that's got to stop. It's got to change. Stop gaslighting us. Stop putting out press releases the day before we have press conferences to act like everything's okay. Everything is not okay. City needs to pay its damn bills on time, and we're going to keep fighting until they do. No procurement?
No peace.
No procurement?
No peace.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Brannon. Next, we have Rod Eric Jones from Goddard Riverside, a settlement house. All the settlement houses that are here today, make some noise. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. I think I want to spend my couple minutes helping you to understand what it is on the not-for-profit side not to be paid. If you think back just 2 years ago during the period of COVID, we had employees who were on the street risking their lives because we considered them essential. Those are the same people who left their children at home because they lost childcare to make sure that other New Yorkers' children were taken care of. At the very same time, those were the same New Yorkers that in fact lost an income at home, but were working food pantries to make sure New Yorkers were taken care of. They risked their lives each and every day during that 2-year period, which typifies the work that we do to keep New York strong. At this point, on an everyday basis, we owe vendors back 190 days, so to the point that calls don't work anymore. They show up to our office and done us, while the mayor yet talks about the A rating of the city. Well, that A rating is on the backs of not-for-profits. Just consider that a $4 million line of credit costs us $23,000 every month. And so for the agencies that are owed $15 million like we are and $30 million, you're talking about $80,000, $90,000 a month in interest payments. And for our folks who make $40,000 and $50,000, we can employ almost an army for interest payments. It has got to stop. And so when we start to return contracts because we cannot keep our doors open, I want you to think about that in the retrospective view of 175 years of this work in New York City. And we're almost to the point where we're ready to close our doors and shut programs and eliminate valuable services to New Yorkers. What does that say about us as a city? When we have older adults who work their entire life and they're trying to live on $785 of Social Security, for which the federal government is working on taking away. But it is us, the not-for-profits, that fill the gap to allow New Yorkers that mopped our floors, that cleaned our offices, that served in food pantries to live each and every day. And enough is enough, and it's time for us to be paid. Thank you.
All right, I think people might have forgotten. Payment on time?
Every time.
Payment on time?
Every time.
Payment on time?
Every time.
Next, we're going to hear from Catherine Trapani from Volunteers of America, who is working to make sure that we end homelessness by 2050.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Catherine Trapani. I'm the Assistant Vice President for Public Policy at Volunteers of America, Greater New York. I stand before you today as an organization that has been providing life-saving housing, health, and wealth services for over 129 years. We operate shelters for families with children, fleeing domestic violence, veterans, seniors, and people with disabilities. Without us, thousands of people, including 1,000 children who call our shelters and supportive housing facilities home, would have no other place to go. We do this work because it is our mission to end homelessness. We do this work because it matters, and we do this work because New Yorkers need us, but we cannot do this work for free. Our organization is owed $32 million. That ain't right. That's down from a high of $38 million, to give credit where it's due, but these are for services that are already rendered, most of which stems from prior fiscal years. We follow the rules. We work with the city to improve processes, submit invoices, and even bridge loans to bridge that gap while we work towards solutions. But still, even after some progress, we continue to operate on a maxed out line of credit and are in real need of immediate relief. This cash crunch has already had a real impact on services, and I want you to understand what that means. We have not received the promised funding for that cost of living increase that we all celebrated here together on the steps of that council. Our overworked and underpaid staff are still overworked and underpaid. Plans to open a new shelter have been delayed, and we've made the difficult decision to return contracts to operate 2 new shelters, just as the city's family shelter census is rising ahead of an expected summer surge where I know it's going to go even higher. It does not have to be this way. Our history tells us that when we work together, we can make incredible things happen for New Yorkers who need us most. Now, I fear that we will increasingly need to make decisions to scale back, just as we should be surging our capacity to help New Yorkers cope with looming threats of federal funding cuts and other troubling economic headwinds. We urgently need an infusion of cash now to pay down the backlog to get us through the end of this fiscal year, and we need meaningful reform going forward to prevent this problem recurring year after year. So we stand ready today to work with our partners in government on both sides of City Hall to work on systemic reforms, and are grateful to everybody who came out today, most particularly to Chair Wan, Speaker Adams, and Justin Brannan here with their bills, and we're really excited for the hearing and looking forward to working with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Next, we're going to have Carrie Ann Pauls from Take Root Justice.
Good morning.
Carrie Ann Pauls at Legal Aid came to us months ago, and they're like, we gotta have a rally. I'm like, yes, let's do it, but let's do it even bigger.
Yeah, thank you. What an intro. Thank you so much, Chair Wan. Well, good morning, as she said. Yeah, my name is Carrie Ann Pauls, and I'm the Interim Executive Director at Take Root Justice. And here, on behalf of the Legal Services Coalition, the LEAP Coalition, Stabilize NYC, and the SILEC Coalition, all of these nonprofits serving New Yorkers in need. I'm so proud to be here alongside my colleagues and allies in this sector, as our passion for this work is not enough to pay the bills. Delays in contracting and payments for nonprofits has been a chronic issue for years, and we are excited to stand with the Speaker and members of this City Council to push for systemic changes and improvements. So what do these contracting delays actually mean for New Yorkers? Why are we here rallying around procurement? The picture is all too clear for those of us in this sector. Unfortunately, organizations providing essential and life-changing services are forced to bear the burden of covering all upfront costs for months and even years, while the city allows for delays in contracting, delays in processing invoices, and delays in issuing payments. Our nonprofits are on the front lines, providing services like childcare, education and enrichment programs, food programs, elder services, legal services, and organizing, and so much more to support our communities in our New York. And what happens if contracting delays continue and this problem is not resolved? Well, without the ability to pay our bills, we lose staff, our doors close, and our communities lose everyday essential services, the ones they depend on. So thank you so much to Speaker Adams, Chair Wan, and other members of City Council for your deep understanding of how important this issue is, and in supporting our nonprofit sector. We feel seen, and we are excited to step inside today, listen to how the agencies are asked about how they are going to solve this problem, and support the legislation to make this fix. Thank you so much. Have a good morning, everyone.
All right. Payment on time?
Every time.
Pay nonprofits? Every time. I Okay, our last speaker is Kimberly Olson, who is an arts education advocate based in Long Island City, right in my own district. She is the executive director of New York City Arts and Education Roundtable.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kimberly Olson, and I'm proud to be the executive director of the New York City Arts and Education Roundtable. Thank you. We are an arts service organization that works with more than 500 arts and cultural nonprofits each year in pursuit of universal access to arts education for all of our city's young people. However, we have a problem. It is less work for our city's artists and cultural workforce, less stability for our arts nonprofits and nonprofit sector overall, and less arts and educational opportunities. These stark realities are all a direct result of the impact of delays in contract processing and payments from our government agencies. It is having a devastating impact now on the arts and cultural sector. Organizations are waiting months, if not years, for contract approvals and payments. And as a result, cultural workers and artists, including teaching artists, face unstable employment and inconsistent compensation, ultimately harming their ability to live and work in New York City. For arts organizations, these persistent delays in payment and the reimbursement model of contracting greatly impact their cash flow, forcing them not only to take out loans and take on that financial responsibility, but to balance that financial stability of the organization with actually being able to provide their services. As one organization wrote to me just yesterday, delays in contracting have severely impacted how much arts education programs our organizations can provide, knowing that we're most likely not going to be paid for several months. The Roundtable is also among them as well, still waiting on payments from FY23 and FY24. All of this then comes at the expense of our city's young people, who are ultimately being denied educational opportunities that they well deserve.
That ain't right.
Exactly. All of this needs to change, and we applaud Speaker Adams and the City Council and join in their call to provide nonprofits for timely access to funding. Thank you so much.
Pay nonprofits? Pay nonprofits?
On time.
Pay nonprofits?
On time.
Pay nonprofits?
On time.
All right, give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much for coming here early. We're now going to go upstairs to the chambers. We even have time for a 5-minute bathroom break. Come on, let's go up and testify.
Brandon, Councilmember, can I get a selfie really quick? Wayne will kill me if I don't take a photo. I'm trying to be better.